For many Albertans, traffic laws are the aspect of law enforcement they encounter most frequently in their lives. Speed limits, traffic lights, we accept these as natural and necessary to maintain safety and order on our busy street. But photo radar is a different story. While there is scientific evidence that photo radar can lower collision rates, there are also a lot of drivers who feel that photo radar is being used more as a source of revenue than a safety tool. In other words, that photo radar has largely become a cash grab. It was clear we needed to take a step back and consult with municipalities and law enforcement to create a more transparent, accountable principles around the use of photo radar and help keep the focus on safety. These new changes, which will begin to come into effect in April 2022, will ensure that photo radar returns to its original primary purpose: keeping our roads safe, improving driver behavior, and saving lives.
I have looked at the data, and I know that photo radar does enhance safety outcomes based on what we know. And in terms of motivations to use this revenue for the right reasons, that is why we're putting controls in the guidelines. That's why we are articulating very succinctly that photo radar is not to be used in transition zones or off on-ramps on highways and things like that, or in certain areas, in school zones or construction zones, unless there are actually people there or school is in session at that time. So these controls that we're implementing in the guidelines should resolve some of those issues with fishing holes and with speed traps. And in addition to that, the data collection aspect, which municipalities will be required to submit, is going to be used to determine what future site selection is going to look like. And if we have certain sites right now, like the one that you just mentioned, if it's not showing any significant reductions in safety initiatives, then that would be a good reason to remove that site. So these particular controls that have been added to the guidelines should resolve a lot of those problems. I know you're looking for a guarantee. There are no guarantees. That is why we're going to review this entire program a year from now, look at the reports that have been submitted by the municipalities, and see where that leads us. What is the information telling us? And then at that point, we will make further policy decisions if required.
If municipalities are misusing the power of photo radar to basically generate revenue as opposed to focus on traffic safety, that we won't permit that. At the end of the day, this is a municipal power that they have, and they're accountable to their local residents. There have been municipalities, Drayton Valley comes to mind, that they had a referendum on this, and they voted to remove photo radar. If there are other communities across the province that feel similarly, they can have plebiscites, they can bring motions to their town and city councils. So our government respects the authority that local governments have and the accountability that they have to their local voters. So that's where this belongs. But one thing we clearly will not tolerate is abusing the authority to do photo radar locations primarily for revenue collection. And if local voters don't think that this is making a contribution to public safety and traffic safety, then they can petition their local councils to reverse the local policies. And that's happened in various communities around the province. So the power is with the people. If they want a change in policy, they can get it at their local government.